With, at its peak, 67 stores throughout the United States in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, and Kansas, the Federated Group was founded by Wilfred Schwartz in 1970. Opening the first discount electronics so-called Superstore, the company grew into the fourth largest electronics discounter by the late 1980s. Working in real estate in Manhattan, New York in 1964, Schwartz worked with a friend who owned Federated Purchase in Los Angeles. He recommended to his friend to either close the location or convert it into a retail location. Later in 1970, Schwartz moved to Southern California and noticed the old Federated Purchase warehouse had been closed after possibly following his advice. After speaking with and persuading his old boss, Schwartz was given the old company, which was in debt, to open as his first Federated store. The location was 25,000 square feet, and he wanted to use 5,000 feet of it for his retail space. He struggled to survive at first after opening his first Federated Group location. 2 years later, he acquired Sarb Audio Video Electronics, who was also struggling, as well as 2 stores of the Magnetic TVI chain in 1973. In 1976, Schwartz closed 2 Federated Group stores to build a new location in Westminster, California, as a Superstore. This 20,000-foot retail space was filled with an expansive and overwhelming supply of electronics and all at discounts. The Federated Group released catchy commercials that featured the character Fred R. Rated that began in 1982. In 1983, Federated Group became publicly traded and had 15 stores by that year. By 1985, there were 60 stores. Schwartz called his stores, quote, a year-round consumer electronics show, end quote. The company remained successful into the mid-1980s when the Federated Group expanded highly into Texas in late 1984. Texas was struggling due to a decrease in the oil industry at this time, which hurt Federated Group's expansion. During the following year, Circuit City entered Los Angeles and hurt Federated even more. With over 1,000 commercials towards the beginning of 1987, as competition increased, they began looking for a new image and went away with the Fred R. Rated character, who was played by Shadoe Stevens. Also in 1987, losing money with the Federated Group, Schwartz wanted to sell the company and did so to Atari for just over $67 million. Atari itself was in declining condition due to low sales in their games and systems, and figured purchasing Federated Group electronics, they could have an outlet for their products as well as other electronics. Federated Group lost nearly $10 million in the first quarter in 1988 and had sales of $71.5 million. Soon after, a lawsuit was filed against Wilfred Schwartz and other officials from Atari, claiming that Schwartz and others claimed the company's value and assets were higher than they actually were. The lawsuit claimed Atari was defrauded upwards of $43 million. Coopers & Lybrand, an accounting firm, was hired to perform an audit and calculated Schwartz and other officials' claimings that the values of the assets was claimed to be more than $43 million over actual value. Atari also filed a suit against Federated accountants Ernst & Winnie. Struggling with sales, Atari cut their employees from 3,800 to 1,800. After losing money each quarter, with 40 stores remaining, in November 1989, after looking for a buyer, Atari sold 26 Federated locations to Silo, 21 in Los Angeles and 5 in San Diego, after losing between $80 and $90 million. The remaining stores were liquidated beginning in December and closed throughout the beginning of 1990. After being acquired by Fredder Incorporated in 1993, by the end of 1995, all the Silo stores closed after filing for bankruptcy. Wilfred Schwartz died on January 17, 2019.